See, this is where I think now what we need to do is go through the stages and kind of talk about them in general,
Yeah,
right?
that sounds great.
Like let's just start with FD because that's probably one of the most underutilized stages and probably one of the most banned stages at a higher level, right?
Yeah.
So why is that?
So, a big thing with Final Destination are a couple things. Unlike every other stage, um, barring like Town and City, once it transforms into its no platform form, FD is the only stage that doesn't have platforms, and that is really good for people that don't get any benefit, for one, from platforms. A great example of a character that doesn't really threaten very much off of platforms is Pikachu and Pichu. Their up air, while it does combo, ultimately what you'll notice is their up air isn't really threatening people on platforms for like a character like Lucina can. Not only that, a platform allows for people to escape by teching or DIing into that platform to get away. So this is a perfect place for them. Not only that, a character like Pichu and Pikachu have very good options to land on the ground. Their quick attack is very fast. It goes really far and it's really hard to punish. So unlike a lot of characters that might have a weaker time or harder time getting back to the ground, Pichu and Pikachu don't have that weakness, so they don't need platforms to help protect them. So that's like a big thing that I see. A lot of people don't like FD because once they get knocked into disadvantage state, either they can't land or it's harder to follow up and get their combos really going.
Yeah, I would totally avoid characters like Pikachu, Pichu, DDD, right? Everything that you just said applies to DDD because like like how do you get away from like Gordo if he puts a Gordo at the edge? Oh my god,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
so the
it's
lack
really
of
hard.
platforms is ridiculous. So like if you're good at like stage control, I think this stage is beautiful for you. So characters like as Snake, I love this stage. I absolutely love this stage. Right? Like you can't jump around platforms. You're going to have to land and get hit by something eventually. Diddy, I said, oh, Diddy Kong. Jesus, I love this
Yeah,
stage, Diddy.
Diddy loves this stage. Inkling loves this stage.
Probably Olimar to an extent. I don't know if Olimars are going to counterpick this stage, but I know that like if I play an Olimar on this stage, it's probably not going to be too good for me. It's just hard to get away from all the Pikmin.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so then it has moderate blast zones, right? It doesn't really have too close or too far. So like if I'm counterpicking FD, I'm trying to utilize the lack of platforms, and I think the stage that's there's two stages in my opinion that are very close to FD in nature. You probably already know what I'm thinking about, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking
Kalos and TNC.
Town and City exactly.
Town and City is like a clone of both of those stages. So I think if you can apply everything we said about FD, about what May just said, you can apply it to Town and City without platforms. And I think if once we talk about Kalos, you can also apply it as well because there's a transformation. Or many of the transformations kind of resemble Kalos in Town and City as well.
Yeah, Town and City's transformation is definitely why people who like FD and Kalos go to it. 100%.
Yeah, so right, because you're always going to ban those two together. So like, if I know you're going to play Pikachu, I'm banning Kalos and FD. I have to because like they're large stages, but then you know you're going to Town and City after that. So real quick, what's good about what do you think about Town and City? Or I'm not Town and City. I'm sorry, Kalos. What are your thoughts about that? Who should I not go, or like what am I thinking if I go there?
So people that like a lot of room to move really like Kalos. So a character that can utilize high speeds and also just survive much longer. So lighter characters like this stage. One person that I can again think of is Pikachu and Pichu because that does increase their survivability, but it also allows for them to still gain all the benefits that you would get from FD as well. Um, you also have a couple of another good thing about it is the walls, something that's unlike FD is the completely straight walls allow for characters with wall clings to really like stages like this. Wall clings, wall jumps, it's more consistent. So characters like Greninja really like this stage
Oh, for
because
sure.
they can catch your Greninja has really great options for catching people's landings like that dash attack. So if you have nowhere to escape to, that dash attack is going to hit you and you're going to eat a combo off it. And you can get further mix-ups on wall clings, stuff like that. Those are all things to think about when you're coming to a stage like this. And if you want to survive longer, if that's something that you would want, you play a lighter character, this is the stage for you.
I would definitely never take Greninja here. Jesus, that just sounds awful. A character,
Yeah.
you know who I like to take here? I like to take heavies here. Because, like, heavies are going to live long regardless, right? Like, Bowser, DK, like, they're going to live. But they tend to be slower, which means, like, against, like, look how large this stage is, right? Like, so if I stay on this platform, it takes them, one, forever to get to me. And two, like, surviving longer is gonna benefit me way more than it's gonna benefit you. I mean, Bowser's living to like 180 anyways, right? So like, what's the difference between 180 and 195? Like, nothing
Yeah,
really. What's the
for
difference?
sure. Especially with a character like Snake. What I could see against Bowser is you have all that room to run around. Like Bowser can't corner you nearly as easily. You have all of this wiggle room to move around. It isn't like a stage like Yoshi's Story where it's like, well, I guess he's gonna corner me, and there's nothing I can do because he is half the stage in his size.
Yeah. You know who else loves this stage? And I learned this the hard way. Was Pokemon Trainer. If you're playing a good PT and there's plenty of them out there, they love this stage because like Ivysaur's Razor Leaf covers like most of this stage. Projectile characters like it as well. So like Samus, obviously the Echoes, right? The Lynx, they love it. Who else is like a large projectile character? Um,
A large projectile character. You could definitely use Olimar. Did we already say Olimar?
no, we haven't. But if I was
Yeah.
gonna counterpick a stage as Olimar, this might be the stage for me.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm so light and I do a ton of damage. It doesn't. I don't need platforms to blow you up with up smash, up air, up air. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's like 60, 70 damage. It's ridiculous.
It depends on what Pikmin they have, but yeah, it's a lot of damage.
All right, so what stages are next? We did Battlefield. We talked about FD. Um, so if FD and Kalos are banned, you're probably going Town and City. You're utilizing the platforms. Definitely, it's just a mixture of all of them. PS2. Do we really need to talk about PS2? Because I think most people understand that it's kind of like the most neutral stage in the game. You know, it's kind of
I think we should still talk about it.
all right. Let's go PS2. Let's see what's up.
So a big thing with PS2 that a lot of people sort of don't get about it is that it has a lot of mixtures of battle, like some of the benefits of a stage like Battlefield with FD, but it's a little strange with it. Characters like Ike, for example, gain the same benefits he would on stages with platforms where he can extend combos on top of it. But the thing is about this stage is the platforms are in such a way where a character like Ike, who has a much weaker disadvantage state than, like, say, a character like Palutena, can't really utilize it to get out of bad situations as much. So I feel like characters with bad disadvantage states don't like they, while the platforms give them a an out in a certain way. It isn't as much of an out as a stage like Battlefield or Smashville, which its platform is literally a third of the stage.
Right, and you notice there too when I down threw the Ike, he landed on the platform. You can tech it. So like stages like this, if a character has a good down throw, and you can tech those down throws, or even throw follow ups. So this is good against. I would even say that this is a good stage against Palutena, because I can get out of some of her big time like nair loops and stuff like that. Whereas like for Ike, it extends it.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter if you tech, because his near will can basically cover the entire thing and hit you again.
Right, I mean, look at that thing. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Like I can do a nair into falling nair into another one into an up air and kill you, and that starts at like 50. That's
yeah, for
ridiculous.
sure.
Yeah, I almost had it there. I just don't play on. There it is, right there.
Yeah,
We
there
got it,
it is.
baby. We got it, baby. I knew I could do it. It's not that hard. You just gotta practice
Yeah,
it.
yeah, for sure. But
Uh,
like that's like the short and the long of PS2 in my opinion.
Same thing with projectile characters. They're good at this stage. Although like as Snake, I don't mind this stage. My counter picks of Snake are like Lilat, FD, PS2. And I'll go to PS2 if I have to, but I just feel like it's just a nice neutral stage for a majority of the cast. But don't fall for the trap that it's neutral, right? Like it can be a bad stage for some characters.
Yeah, for sure. There and it isn't even necessarily that it's bad for certain characters. It's that it's just better for other characters, which is the
Yeah,
problem.
that's a good way to put it. And you could get more from other stages, right? Like, so
Correct.
what is your character doing that they're good at that PS2 doesn't necessarily help or amplify?
Exactly.
All right, what's next? Smashville. Oh, I love Smashville.
Yeah, Smashville. If PS2 is like the stage that people always went to, in Smash 4, Smashville was that stage. Everybody went to Smashville.
Yeah, it used to be called Starterville. Remember that?
Starterville, yes, it did.
Where are
It
we going?
100% did.
We're going Starterville, baby. All right, I'm cool with that. But the difference now is though that the platform doesn't move,
Yeah,
whereas then I love. You know what? Back in Smash 4, there used to be there's a controversial hot take that Smashville wasn't a good counter pick or wasn't a good starter because of the moving platform, and because it moved, you could camp more readily than other characters. Well, some characters
yeah.
could.
There were also characters that could drag you across the platform on the side and kill you significantly earlier, like Sheik. I remember people called this stage Sheikville because you'd be thrown onto the platform and hit with the normal fair combo, and then you'd get bouncing fished at 40 and you'd be done.
Yep, forwarder combos are a real thing. God,
Yeah,
I've noticed that for this stage, it's good for characters with command grabs.
yeah, definitely characters that can utilize neutral bees and just their B moves in general around it are really good. I personally really like the stage with people that are very reliant on projectiles. I love this stage as Banjo and Kazooie because what I can do is if you hide under that platform, it is extremely hard to regain stage control. A character who also loves this stage that we just discussed, Ike, because he can cover himself really well in front of him and above him. Once he gets under that platform, he has that big sword to cover all that area in front of him. Like it's very hard to get in. And if you try to go above him, he has his entire giant sword. Sword characters love this stage because they can just shark you under that platform, and then it's really hard to regain the stage against them.
Right, like right here is what you're talking about. Like this is like the power state, like the power state right here, like in between like right here and right here,
Yeah,
and
like
then like even right there too against projectiles. It's so good.
it's so hard. It's so hard to get in. Like characters like Yoshi in that situation, it's just like how would he get in if Mario had stage control like that? Like, or just imagine a character with a sword just holding that space. It's very hard to get past.
Yeah, I agree with everything said. Normal blast zones on this stage, so if you're sword character, I say go for it. I know Roy's tend to be pretty good on this. Chroms, I would actually never want to fight a Chrom on this. You can get like mad damage. Characters
Oh,
that have
100%.
like up air strings, even characters like Bayonetta. Bayonetta does surprisingly well on this stage because it extends combos with this center platform.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing that's not as talked about, but you do see it from time to time, is because this stage doesn't have a large bottom to it. A lot of characters with really long recoveries can go to the other side of the stage and recover,
Oh,
like
yeah.
Pikachu, Diddy Kong, like just to name a couple off the top of my head. So that's
Yeah.
another extra mix-up that you can have as a player to save yourself in really bad situations.
That reminds me of Inkling.
Yeah.
I was playing Armada actually, and
Oh,
Armada,
really?
yeah, he kept and I was Snake, right? So he did this recovery, and it was the most I had never seen it before, but it was so ambiguous that it was just super good. So what he would do is he would use his roller, he'd get like right here, and then he'd up B, and like I can't really do it because I don't practice it that much.
Yeah, but he'd
Something
up B
like
to the ledge. Yeah, like that.
right,
Yep.
exactly right. So like if you have to conserve your jump out of it, and I could never determine which way he'd go. Would he go left or would he go right? So if I was on one side, he'd jump and he'd go to the other side. And I was like, man, how great is this recovery? Which way am I going to go? Oh, I'm going this way now. It's
Yeah,
so
exactly.
ambiguous. And then
Yeah,
there's
that.
Pikachu, and then there's what, like Greninja that can do that as well? Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a little niche, but it is a little thing to just keep in your head when you're thinking about stages.
You know who you can, if you're having difficulty, like figuring out like what stage works best for you, you know, one of the easiest ways to do this is go find a top tier player and then just find their Twitter and just at them, be like, hey, you know, I'm picking up this character. What stages work best for me? And you know how many? I'm telling you, most top players will respond back, be like, hey, you know what? No problem. You're Inkling, go Smashville, try this out, or just watch a video of them. You know, see what stages they counterpick to.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a good thing, especially if you're struggling in a matchup. Look at where the top players bring them, if they win or if they lose, because both of those are very important.
All right, now we need to end it up here. We got Yoshi's story and we got Lilac Clues. Although we've already talked about Yoshi's story with the platforms, smaller blast zones. Yoshi's story being this one right here. It's the triplat.
Yeah,
There is the argument that because we already have one triplat, we shouldn't have another triplat in the stages, which I can totally see it. There are minute differences.
I,
What do you
I
think?
get I get that, but the problem is just ultimately there's not really a great way to kind of set up platforms in a way where you can have like many more other than the ones we already have, like the platform in the middle, the triplats and the no platforms. Like that's basically like there aren't many other ones that don't completely impede the way that the game works. Like one that comes to mind is Duck Hunt. Like its platforms were in such a way that you could just camp people in earlier iterations, and there's pretty much nothing that you could do about it if you were certain characters like Little Mac. So the big thing, if you're looking for Duck Hunt, it's to the left.
I see it. I see it.
Yeah, right there. Like so those trees you see right there, all of those are platforms. So I remember seeing a set with a Ryu versus a Little Mac, and he just sat in the tree, and there's nothing Little Mac can do about it. Like so you have to consider stuff like that. I don't know. I've never really understood the argument about uh, getting rid of multiple triplats. The only time it really made sense to me was in Smash 4, but that was because we had so many platform stages with especially with hazards being on, like for example Town and City, where it didn't feel like there was any choice that really benefited a player against like Diddy Kong or Rosalina or ZSS. But in this game it's a lot less brutal in my opinion. It doesn't feel as oppressive as it did in Smash 4.
Yeah, this stage. Yeah, this stage isn't really any stage where you can like circle camp and camp out a character and completely nullify a character. That tends to be a bad stage, or like stages with walk-offs. Yeah, this
Yeah.
I remember when this was legal, thinking this ain't gonna take time to ban, and it took a lot of time to ban. But I'm so surprised that it took that much time. I hated this stage. It
Yeah.
just wasn't good for competitive play. But I agree with you about Yoshi's Island Brawl. I mean, yeah, Yoshi's
Good
Story.
story.
I love this stage. I think having the smaller blast zones and having like the tilt at the edge with the wall clings, I think that completely changes the play style on that stage, and it makes it completely different from Battlefield.
Yeah, and the other thing is because we don't have a state, like people were talking about WarioWare being a legal stage, but that stage is too small. I think Yoshi's Story is just the right amount of like a smaller stage. It is by just the stage itself, it is very very small.
For real, like
So
you can kill with Roy at like 30 to 40% with a side B on this stage. Like it's
yeah,
ridiculous.
and
There's
so
no way.
Yoshi's Story is is small. Like, it isn't huge. It's small enough that it's very different than all the other stages. And characters like heavies love this stage because it's like you can't run away from me. You can't get away. I'm gonna corner you and I'll kill you very, very early.
Fun fact: if you ever know, like, if you know you're playing against a Mario player, this is Mario's best stage by far. Don't ever, ever, ever let this stage stay alive. Always ban it versus a Mario player. Always,
Yeah.
every single
I
time.
always I always ban Yoshi's and Battlefield against Mario. Never ever let him go there. Nope.
Yeah,
Because he
just
can just combo you off one neutral exchange and either take your stock or almost take it, which is insane.
yep,
So absolutely not.
not happening. I will never also take, like you said. You said Bowser. Hell yeah, I'm
Yeah.
never
Oh
ever
no. No
taking
no no no
Bowser
no no
here.
no.
Too small.
Absolutely
It's
not.
too small.
Yeah.
I gotta have room to operate. And if I gotta play against a character that I need room to operate, I'm not going Yoshi's Story. But if I'm trying to oppress you, man, I'm Yoshi's Story. Let's go.
100%. There
Uh,
aren't as many options to move around because you just have less space.
Now this stage, I think, dog. I think Unova needs its. Needs its day. I still disagree with the reason that it's banned. People say that it's banned because of
Teleports?
teleports and color blindness.
Hmm. I actually
And
didn't know about the other one.
yeah, and I was like, okay, so you're thinking about like disabilities and people with like visibility issues, but like this has the same color scheme as like FD. And I don't know about you, man, but like I've almost had a seizure playing on FD with the background. It can get insane on that stage,
He was
right?
really bad in Smash 4. That was insane.
Yeah, I couldn't play on it. If you have a dark screen monitor, forget it. It's over.
Yeah.
So if by chance you are running into a rule set, and there are rule sets out there, like Collision has a rule set with this stage legal. Um, kind of some of the similar things apply to Yoshi's Story with this stage. It's smaller. It's got a wall that you can cling to. You can jump off of it. Smaller blast zones on the side, but it actually has a fairly high ceiling. So this is
Yes.
a good stage for characters to play against characters like Snake, for example, who loves to kill off the top. Right? So Snake actually has a harder time killing on this stage, believe it or not, because like you can live a little bit longer against my up tilt.
Yeah, exactly. Character is an Ike. While he does get benefits from the platforms, he doesn't kill you as early. Any characters like that who have very strong vertical kill power. This is a good stage to pick. While it isn't, and like Gab said, while it isn't always legal, when it is, that's something to keep in mind just in case.
Right. Very, very powerful counter pick. It's something that needs to be in the forefront of your mind, right? Like, don't ever choose a sword. Like, don't ever play against like a Lucina or a Martha on this stage, or Roy. Strong side smashes. Just don't do it. Pichu?
Yeah,
Oh hell no! Don't even think about bringing Pichu here. It's over.
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we saved the best stage for last. Ha!
Oh man, Lilac Cruise. So Lilac Cruise has definitely been a stage that has been debated for quite some time on its legality. This stage is one of the most unique layouts for platforms. I actually quite like the platform layout. It's very good for characters that like sharking, like Lucina. 100% loves the stage like this because unlike Battlefield, where you can escape to a higher platform, you can't really do that here. And that up tilt hits through all those platforms.
Right, and if you get one air dodge read, oh, it's over.
Oh,
Because
that's
apparently Lucina can do a down air on the platform, jab lock you into a forward smash. So like that's super crazy. Not
yeah,
to mention that her up B goes through the stage, right?
yeah. You can also tech chase really easily on these platforms, and since there are a lot of areas to land on that are right at big scary sword level, it's very very bad for a lot of characters because you get tech chased one time on a platform and it's over.
My one issue with this stage, and it's really a small issue that has large consequences, is the stage itself. It tilts back and forth. up and down. So I have died to overshooting the edge where like I'll be air dodging to the edge and then it'll tilt down and then my air dodge will go above it and then I was like, oh well, there goes my stock. I've lost a tournament set where I got hit by a forward smash at 70% with Snake, where I was like, all right, the dude was straight up just charging, like right here with against Lucina of all characters. Like, you have like infinite time, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have all the time to react. I'm like, let me just air dodge to the bloop. No, and it tilted on me as I was air dodging, and I went right into the stage and it killed me. And I'm like, that would never have happened on another stage.
Yeah, my issue with this, I have a couple issues with this stage. That is one of the issues, and the big problem with this stage is unlike a lot of the stages from before, uh many of the stages from earlier Smash games like Brawl, this is where this is from, were ported directly from their predecessor, and especially in earlier games, the port was just not very good. And I kind of think that that's the case with this stage. This is not really. It has a lot of problems with like the ledge just not working sometimes, like you were saying. Another problem that I have with this stage, and this is really niche, but characters that have fast like burst movement, for example, like Bowser Jr. and characters like that. Do you see the little bump that Lucina's sitting on right there? That's
Yeah,
Mario's on right there.
yeah.
If I hit that bump, I fly up like I jumped.
Oh, interesting.
So stuff like that kind of is a problem. My other problem is like the reason I hate Snake on this stage isn't even because it's necessarily super like it's a good stage for him, but my problem is I can't see a thing on this stage.
That's why I
Like
choose it, because even if you're looking for it, you can't see C4s. Like,
it's
you
like
could
where's the
look.
C4? Where's the grenade? It's like
I don't know.
ah.
Oh, the grenades? Yeah, right. But yeah, black background, can't see them.
Yeah, it's so
Nope.
hard to see it. So like that's really hard. Game and Watch with certain colors can be a little difficult to see. So like I have a couple things that are just like weird gimmicks that kind of are kind of questionably can affect gameplay. So that's really my only problem with that with this stage.
So if you're playing, oh, man, this sounds like sword characters run supreme on counter picks. Um, yeah, you have to know who you're playing against. Lilac Cruz is just so good for a lot of characters. Don't ever let a snake take you there. Just
No.
unless you're Lucina or like a sword character that does amazing. Because it just has to be
Yeah,
way better for
because
you than him.
for sure, for sure.
Other than that, that's really all I've got. You want to add anything else before we wrap it up?
No, I can't really think of anything else to add.
All right. Well, thanks guys for listening. This was actually a long video, a lot longer than I thought, but definitely good information. Hey, Mage, I appreciate you you stopping by and talking with me on this thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. If you liked it, like video and stay safe.